Sorry, I was gonna ask, do our fans know that we're going live?
Well, I don't know if it's going to work yet. We'll find out. This is what we're going to find out. So stand by for that. But at the very least, we're recording. It looks like it went
Yeah,
out
what a great
live.
opening! Me trampling all over you.
Hey, we're used to that. So welcome to the Stallone Podcast Network. This is where three podcast hosts of their own respective Stallone or Rocky podcasts come together to talk about a movie that is neither a Rocky film or a Rambo film. So we're picking his other films from his illustrious career, Sylvester Stallone's illustrious career, that we want to talk about. And today we are talking about Get Carter. But before we begin talking about Get Carter, I want to read a couple of reviews from our YouTube channel. So there's good news, bad news, guys. The good news is our YouTube channel is growing. We've got 833 subs, so that's all right. That's not bad.
Wow.
The bad news is, for some reason, people are very angry at our channel. They think that we should be a free streaming service for Sylvester Stallone films. And I'll read you some.
Which is illegal.
It is illegal, so I don't know how we would be able to sustain that or make money off that or whatever it is. Like, not that we're making any money anyways, but you get.
Well, people don't care about that when they're looking to watch Assassins at 3 in the morning.
Well, what I don't
They
understand.
don't care about legality.
Yeah, well, what I don't understand is there's ways to get free movies out there. There's ways to do it. And when they stumble on our channel, they get angry. They get angry that there's a podcast that reviews movies, which is, they seem to be foreign to the idea. I don't know. So here's some reviews. Want to hear some reviews? I'll be PG-13.
Absolutely.
I'll be PG-13 about it. I had to translate this one from Spanish, but it basically called us effing dogs, and we should F dogs while we're at it. That was our latest one. That
At
was
least they're intuitive. They're not intuitive. They're like I don't know what the fuck I'm saying.
that was Rodrigo Probest Varela. Another one said, oh, a lot of them are different languages. Somebody called this Folkin Bitches. Another one said, fack, you best fack. So there's people, some of them just gave the middle finger. We got a wide variety of reviews, but some of them were legitimately like, you guys are good and what have you. And like I said, the subs are going up, so people are subscribing to this free streaming service of of movies. So today we're going to stream Get Carter for you guys. How does that sound?
When you hear reviews like this, you kind of look inward and maybe we're doing something wrong.
Oh, yeah.
But no, the only thing I can think of is if they see the title of the episode and it says Assassins, maybe they're going to expect to see Assassins. But what if we put like review after the title?
It definitely
matter.
says something to the fact that we're covering the movie that we're covering.
Yeah.
It definitely doesn't say like Assassins HD rip.
yeah. 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 Oh, yeah. Somebody said clickbait. They actually accused one of our videos being clickbait because I showed the thumbnail of the movie that we're reviewing. If that's clickbait and the title actually says, like grudge match movie review, I don't know what else we have to say. But anyways, this is the Get Carter movie review, and let's get going. Get Carter came out in 2000. As we always do, let's talk about when we first saw the movie. Do you guys remember when you first saw Get Carter? It came out in 2000. If you can believe, that was 20 years ago.
Yeah, I saw it in the theater.
I did not.
Well, we knew that Doug never sees any of Sylvester Stallone's movies in the theaters, it appears.
Well,
I don't see many movies in the theater. I don't.
This was kind of a big deal because this was like right around, and I didn't do any, of the research that hopefully you guys did, so you can carry me through this. But this was that period where, Sly was, odds are if you wanted to see a brand new Sly movie, you were getting it on home video, the day it came out. So, a big theatrical release like Get Carter was kind of a big deal. Like that was something that I remember we were pretty excited about.
Yes, I agree. This came out 3 years after Copland. Yeah, and let's talk first about that. Copland was a critical darling. It did well with critics. Most people liked it. Nobody thought it was a terrible film. It had a great cast. We've reviewed that film on this channel. We all liked it. We thought Stallone's performance was great. It was a back to earth type performance and everything. But Craig or Doug, do you have any indication as to why Sly's career after Copland just went almost as fast as it went down. I mean, sorry, as fast as it went up in praise, it disappeared again. Why?
I have a theory, and I've talked about it on our shows before, and I believe the answer lies with Mr. Harvey Weinstein, who's currently serving time at Rikers. So I believe the Weinsteins did Stallone dirty. They made him promises that weren't kept in terms of future movie projects after Copland, and I believe that he was just done dirty by the Weinsteins. And the power Harvey Weinstein had. So it's completely feasible to see how a Harvey Weinstein could sort of stymie somebody's career, even somebody as big and successful as Sly. That's just my personal theory. I believe there's a big story there, and hopefully one day we hear it, because that's the only thing that makes sense to me.
I think that he, with Copland, he showed that he could go in a different direction. But and maybe critics and fans alike were thinking like, okay, this is a new direction that Stallone is going in. He's getting older. That action star thing is possibly behind him. But then, right after Copland, he comes out with this, and it's like, oh, here we go, another Stallone action film that we've seen 100 times in the 90s. So that's why I was just
well, not entirely, Doug. I mean, he did do other movies before this.
Were they? Let's see.
Well, I know one of them was ICU or Detox.
Let's see.
Well, actually, I have it ready to go here. I just keep remembering that everything that is on my computer will be broadcast live, which is fine. Shouldn't have anything. I should have anything inappropriate here.
All right, Doug. So yeah, you're right, Doug. He only did 2 movies after this. One of them was Ants, which
yes,
we can't really consider. That's a cartoon. And then he did Detox. So
right. After well, it looks like Driven, and then Detox was after that.
Or ICU, whichever you prefer.
Yeah, no. At least what I'm seeing is 97 Copland, 98 Ants, 99 Detox, 2000 Get Carter.
Oh. Oh wow! I got 2002 for ICU.
Yeah, I have that too. I'm looking at IMDb. Detox. I'm looking at IMDb. So Get Carter came out in 2000, and then it was Driven, then it was ICU, then it was Avenging Angelo, and then it was Shade, then it was Spy Kids 3. So really, we're talking about from a 3 to...
Wikipedia is wrong, by the way, guys.
Oh, that's weird. I guess
they have Detox listed as 99.
I guess what I'm getting at for me personally, and I want to talk about this before we talk about the movie really quickly, because we'll break down the movie as we talk about Sly, but it's really disheartening to see so many wasted years during this time of Sly. He's 54 when he did Get Carter, and of course he doesn't look like your average 54-year-old. He's in great shape. He's taking care of himself. But there's that's what I mean. Basically, from Get Carter to Rocky Balboa in 2006, there's a 6-year period there where what he produces is crap. It's it really is garbage films, and then nothing really does kind of happen in his career. He goes from Copland, if you really want to get down to it, Copland in 1997 until Rocky Balboa's 2006. It was it was the Rocky V of his career.
He was done. I mean, it was a really tough time to be a Stallone fan. I mean,
yeah. So
but it wasn't just him though either. I mean, Arnold was going through the same kind of pains. I mean, he made a lot of garbage movies around this time too.
Yeah, was that the nature of films at the time? Was there just a change? Is this like?
I was just gonna ask, what was popular now at this time? We're in 2000, so I mean, Lord of the Rings and Star Wars were big right about now.
I also think it might have just been, and it's funny to think that, a guy in his early 50s would be considered old, but it was one of those things where I think Sly and Arnold were both considered quote unquote too old to be action heroes. And I mean, as great as Sly looks in this movie, 5 years later, 6 years later, he was filming Rocky Balboa, where he was considered an old man.
Yeah. All right, so I saw this in the theaters, Get Carter, and this was, of course, 3 years after Copland. So me, as a big Sly fan, I think I even saw Ants in the theaters because I was so desperate to see a Stallone film and CGI films back then were new and they were kind of big, and so it's kind of cool to see a movie like Ants in the theaters. And I thought it was great that he took a stab at a family friendly film. We'll get to that maybe discussion another day. But
Oh, come on, Ryan. You know the real reason is he wanted to go in the studio in his sweatpants. He didn't have to go show up on set all buff and.
yeah, oh yeah, he still worked out. He still worked out. Yeah, and then so Get Carter comes out, and did you guys watch the trailer after you saw the film?
No, I didn't watch the trailer.
Okay, so I thought I watched the film, and I think this might have been. So I watched the film last 24 hours. I should say that first. I watched it again just recently for this podcast episode, and I don't know if I've seen it since I saw it in the theaters. Maybe once. I think I had it on DVD, so out of courtesy, I probably watched it at least once on my DVD back when I got it in 2001, maybe. And I know I owned the DVD, but I remember it sitting on my shelf for ages, and I ended up selling it back in the day, like at a garage sale or something, and I have never revisited this film. And we've said this before with a couple of the other Stallone films that we reviewed, and this is one of the ones where I'm like, oh, now watching it again, spoiler alert, I can see why I never revisited it. I can see why 20 years ago Ryan didn't feel the need to rush back to it, like I've done with Copland, for example.
Yeah, but you know what the problem is, Ryan, and it's something that really kind of disappoints me about this show is you get all excited about a movie we're going to cover. Assassins, perfect example. Assassins was a movie that I held in such high regard for so many years because I hadn't seen it since I was, 22 or whatever when it came out. And I watched it again and it was dog shit. And Get Carter was a very similar experience for me. It was a movie I actually dug out the DVD to watch it for this. And it's got the big used previewed sticker on it for Blockbuster. I got it in August of 2001 at Blockbuster, previewed for $6.99, and it's sat on my shelf until I dug it out of a box from when I moved to watch it yesterday. And I probably watched it, the day I got it previewed at Blockbuster, and I'm pretty sure I overpaid.
So I will say before we start breaking down the film, parts that we like or didn't like or what have you, when I watched the trailer after the film, I thought I'm gonna go watch the trailer, and boy, the trailer that looked like a great movie. I can't wait to see that Get Carter. So kudos to the trailer maker, and I know that's their job to sell the movie, but you gotta wonder when they made the trailer, whoever edited it together, whether it was the studio or Sly or who knows. But anyways, let's go into the specs of this film. This film was directed by a fella named Stephen Kay. Have you ever heard of this guy, Stephen Kay?
No, but I looked him up, and he's got quite an impressive resume, or a couple of notches on his holster, if you know what I mean.
Yes! Yeah, okay. I know. I want to know who the Stephen Kay guy is because you're absolutely correct. So this dude from New Zealand, he's currently, we don't know his exact age according to Wikipedia, but he was born in 1963, so he's 56 to 57 years old right now. He dated at two different times, obviously, but he dated Terry Hatcher and Eva Longoria in their prime from the Desperate Housewives days. Yes. Check
And
out.
he was married to Piper Perabo from Coyote Ugly, and she did a show on USA called Covert Affairs.
No, he's still married to her. He married her in 2014.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, So this guy.
So do you think he did in his head? He did like an F, marry, kill,
Oh,
and he was like, "I'm gonna marry Piper Perabo." He F Terry Hatcher. Maybe he killed Longoria. I don't know.
I don't know what he looks like, but he's either handsome, rich, or hung like a hamster. One of the three.
Well, it looks like after he, had the Get Carter experience, it looks like he pivoted to TV.
Yeah, he's currently does a lot of directing on that new Kevin Costner TV show called Yellowstone, which I actually want to see. Okay, so that's Stephen Kay, the director. Not a big film career, more of a big TV career. As we know, Get Carter was based on a novel by Ted Lewis called Jack Returns Home. I guess you guys knew that.
Yes, and it was also a film with Michael Caine in 1971 or whatever.
That's right.
Yeah, this
Called
is
Get
like
Carter.
a remake, right? This is
Yeah.
Anytime something's
Effectively.
based on a book, it's dicey. But the book is not named Get Carter, and both movies are named Get Carter. So in this one, it seems like they were definitely sort of capitalizing on the success of that hot Michael Caine movie from 1971.
Right, that's a good point, Craig. I was going to say, what is it a remake of? Is it a reinterpretation of the book or the movie or both? And excuse me, spoiler alert for those who have not seen the Get Carter with Michael Caine, and I haven't. But the Michael Caine character, the guy that plays Carter in Get Carter with Michael Caine, his character, he actually dies in the end of that film. It's a much darker film.
oh wow.
So what little reading I did on the original Get Carter of Michael Caine, it's a much darker film. Apparently, it starts dark and ends dark. So that kind of sounds. I wouldn't mind going back and watching that. It's probably better to watch this Get Carter and go back and watch the original.
Mm-hmm.
That might be a more pleasurable experience.
Has Stallone ever died at the end of one of his films?
Mike Kunda's yelling at his podcasting device right now.
He's saying, "No, you idiots."
Yeah, has it ever? Well, you could argue. I like to think he died at the end of Last Blood. I don't care what anyone says, but.
Well, thankfully, Last Blood Part 2 will prove you wrong.
Oh, man. And then the writer of this film, now granted he adapted this screenplay from a book and a movie, but he wrote American History X, David McKenna, Blow, and SWAT, and he's currently a professor of arts at some college right now.
I had no idea who this guy was.
Yeah, you've heard of American History X, of course.
Yeah, I didn't know that it was that. I don't know. I don't know how big even that movie was.
American History X?
Yeah, was it huge?
Critically, it was.
It's
got one of the greatest scenes in cinema history.
Don't say it.
Where...
I can't even. I
Don't say it.
No, but I just the whole.
No, not the curb stop. Not the curb stop at all. There's this amazing moment between Ed Norton and the John Connor.
Edward Furlong.
Eddie Furlong, where Ed Norton's talking about how in prison he was raped, and he goes through this really serious, emotional, moving discussion about being violated in the shower, and then they cut away, and they cut back to present time, and Eddie Furlong looks at him and says, "I'm really sorry that happened to you." Like, what do you say?
That's weird. I've seen the movie once. That's not a repeat viewing type movie for me.
No.
Not at all.
Oh, I've seen it a bunch.
Oh, really? You like it? Eh?
What does that say about me? I just think it's a
great,
beautifully shot movie.
Oh yeah, I mean Tony Kaye is if you look up Tony Kaye, the director, I mean he's a true independent spirit, and Ed Norton is also kind of a fiercely a guy who's very into his point of view too. So when you get two guys like that, it makes for an interesting film. I've seen American History X a ton of times, but I understand Ryan's point too. There's certain films that you see once and you don't need to see again just because of the subject matter or the way it makes you feel.
People say that about Schindler's List.
Is that a Seinfeld episode? You ever watch Seinfeld?
I don't like Seinfeld.
Oh. You just hate Jew people. Okay. Yeah. Wow.
Well, it looks like somebody waved to us, Ryan.
Yeah, I got that. That was
Aaron.
Aaron, thanks for watching. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hopefully he didn't tune out already.
Oh, probably.
One other thing I want to talk about before we get into the movie. I'm not sure where we're at. I know we were going through the credits, but how nostalgic did you guys get when you saw the Franchise Pictures logo?
Explain. I know that they're not a company anymore, are they?
No, it was that dude, Eli Samaha, something like that. And I don't remember. He also produced Driven. But I believe there was some kind of legal scam surrounding Franchise Pictures, and I think Stallone lost a bunch of money on that as well.
Yeah, Sly can't catch a break with the studios, can he? That's why he started Balboa Productions. All right.
So he could rip other people off.
Yeah, probably.
Want to take it into his own hands.
Let
All
me
right.
see.
Do you guys know who Robert Browning is? This movie starts with the quote, "That's all we expect of man this side of the grave. His good is knowing he is bad."
I thought he was the guy that directed that movie Freaks. That's Todd Browning. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they're going to quote the guy that directed Freaks.
The punctuation confused me here in this, because like the way you just read it, Ryan, it makes sense, but the way that I was reading it, like I had no idea what the hell this was trying to say.
Right. No, it's not very clear.
His good is knowing he is bad. I don't even know what that quote means.
Deep.
Yeah, I went online to like look up an interpretation of it, and there really wasn't much that I could find, but I don't know. I think it's stupid. Sorry.
Yeah, it is. So the let's just
that's actually the problem with this movie. Right off the bat, it tells you that it's going to try and be this serious sort of exploration of seemingly bad people doing bad things, or bad people attempting to do good things.
So the movie opens up with Carter chasing down some, you could tell he's a mobster or some sort of gambler or whatever have you, and
yeah, downtown Las Vegas.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you
Mark
recognize
Jr.
it? You recognize
That's Fremont Street. You got Binion's, and they're out front of the Golden Nugget there. So yeah, when you guys come to Vegas, we'll go down to Fremont Street. We'll get some fried Oreos.
All right, sounds like a date.
Or
yeah,
you recognize
Mark Boone Jr.?
Yeah. Do you watch Sons of Anarchy?
Yeah.
Or Scrubs. That's John C. McGinley.
Yeah, well, why don't we talk first about Stallone plays a character called, forgive me, is it Jack Carter?
Jack Carter, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why
you don't want to know him.
No, but we do. Let's play a little bit of this scene here where Jack Carter's beating up this guy for whatever reason, and Jack Carter's, I guess, wingman in this gang or whatever you want to call it, organization that he works for, John C. McGinley. He plays a guy named, remind me.
Doesn't matter.
Connie.
It matters. I got it here.
Doesn't matter.
Well, yeah. And so John C. McGinley plays Con McCarty. I love his first name is Con.
I get it.
Wait a minute. And so he's kind of like a fast talker. He's like the annoying animated character in a Disney film. The fast talking parrot type thing.
I love John C. McGinley, and his character in this, like, I like it. I like the animated and like fast with the quips.
That's what he's good at.
Yeah.
We are going to run out of time. Look at that. It's not free.
Somebody lied to us.
Well,
let's see what happens. It might say, oh, you know what? Because it's a Saturday, Ryan.
Is that why?
They probably flip that switch on the weekends when nobody's supposed to be working.
All right, so we'll just let our viewers know that if this runs out of time, all we do is a quick re-invite and everyone comes back in. So don't panic, don't leave us. We should also say that the majority of our listeners, at least for the analytics for my podcast, they downloaded it off the audio stream after I've edited the crap out of this thing. This is more of just if you want to pop in and see us do this thing live, you're welcome to. But it's a bit of a drudge to go through the whole process with us because we do a lot of stopping and talking and jokes that don't work. That's usually, I usually edit. I edit a lot of my jokes. No,
yours?
Yes.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Edit me, please.
Yeah. Well, don't worry about that. We'll do that. Okay. Let's listen to Khan talk here for a second.
I'm so not buying this. It's not even funny, Kimosabi.
He's my brother, Connie. He's my little brother, and he's dead. He left the wife and kid up there, so I'm going. I owe him that.
Let me get this straight. Now you owe him? Here's the bad news, sports fans. It's a little late.
Well, listen, the therapy session is good.
So, right away, I found myself, and I'm not, we've talked about this before with some of his films, but I'm not a dumb guy. I don't think I am. But I actually had to refer to the Wikipedia plotline a couple times to kind of follow who's who in the zoo and why Jack Carter is the way he is to these individuals, if that makes sense. And throughout the movie, and we'll get to some of these characters, I'm like, how does he know this person from the past? What's his connection? Like, he knows Mickey Rourke's character, let's say, for example.
Right.
He knew him. They have a history. But they're having this conversation in Seattle, and the only reason why Jack Carter has gone to Seattle from Las Vegas is because his brother was killed in Seattle.
Yeah.
There's a lot of unrelated
Well,
relationships. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, look at the title of the book that the movie's based on. It's Jack's Return Home. So obviously he had a big life that he left behind to go become a lucrative Vegas enforcer.
Yeah, I don't think he went out to Vegas, an honest guy, and became, a mobster's muscle. Like he was probably involved in that to some degree at home. I don't know how big.
And you also see that the Mickey Rourke character, Cyrus or whatever his name is, the business he's involved in is new to Jack. So it almost seems to me like they were doing street level shit together.
Right.
And then Jack went off to Vegas and did what he did, and then Cyrus sort of pivoted into the seedy underbelly of the internet.
Yeah, Seattle doesn't seem like a big time market for underground crime. Is that just me?
No, there is. I think there is in Seattle. Believe it or not, any large city will have it. I guess I hear what you're saying, Craig, about the book, but I guess my point is this movie is I don't know how much of it's based on the book. I mean, it took place in a different part of the world, and the point I'm trying to make too is we're never really told that. We're never told that they could have easily said. Or did they? And I missed it. Where Richie's widow says at some point, "Hey, this used to be your hometown. You and Richie were close growing up, and you guys were tight growing up, and you helped each other even through when things that you were doing that you're not supposed to be doing. But then you left for the bigger Las Vegas money and all this stuff." Did I miss that kind of dialogue? Like we didn't know what his connection was to Seattle. Watching the movie.
No. I think there was a lot of unanswered questions in this movie. I mean, if you look at the plot, though, it's pretty straight line from beginning to end, at least in terms of how it unfolds. It's like Jack learns his brother dies. Jack goes and asks Michael Caine who did it. Michael Caine lies to him. He goes to Cyrus, gets in a mix-up with Cyrus, goes to Alan Cumming, and then rinse, repeat, and then we get to the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Everybody kind of just blames one another in a circle. And
I mean, there's no mystery really. I mean, aside from the the reveal of what happened to Rachel Lee Cook.
Yeah, I think we've just said the plot very well. I don't think we have to go through this movie necessarily like point by point. We can talk about just different parts of it. I think we're better served as a podcast when we've done it in the past. I'll be honest with you, when we just talk about parts that we liked or didn't like, we can skip to those parts throughout.
Well, do you guys want to talk about Sly's sharkskin suit?
That's what I mean. Let's just talk about the things we want to talk about. Let's talk about his suit.
well, that's why I started doing the 2-minute synopsis, because we don't really need to go bit by bit through the movie.
Okay, go ahead with that then. Yeah, go.
You want me to do this one?
Yeah, we got 4 minutes remaining on our free time, so let's do it.
All right. I got Jack Carter, an enforcer for a Las Vegas mobster, is traveling home to attend the funeral for his brother Richie, who died in a drunk driving accident. At the funeral, Jack meets his niece Doreen. Doreen tells Carter that her father wouldn't drink and drive, which raises some suspicion in Carter. He also meets Richie's friend Eddie, who Jack starts asking questions about Richie to. He starts looking into his brother's affairs and finds that Richie was involved in a porn ring with producer Cyrus, who is Mickey Rourke's character. Jack finds a disc that shows women being drugged and raped by Eddie and another friend, Geraldine. One of these girls happens to be Richie's own daughter, Doreen. Jack goes on a man on fire style rampage and takes care of everyone involved in his brother's death before driving off into the sunset.
All right. Great. Have you ever seen that Spider-Man meme where it shows 3 different Spider-Mans pointing at the other Spider-Man?
Yeah. Yes.
You know which one I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That's this movie. Picture Jack Carter. Picture him in the middle, and he's asking each Spider-Man who is responsible for killing my brother. And they're all like, "Hey, it's that guy." And the spoiler, the big reveal, of course, is it's the Michael Caine character. And it should be noted that Michael Caine, he originally, like when he was originally filmed, and they did a test screening, I guess, or some sort of early test screening, and audiences loved seeing Michael Caine in the film so much that they actually reshot and added scenes to this movie and made him the bad guy at the end.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So it was more like just sort of a fun little cameo.
Yes. I think the idea originally was that Caine was going to do a bit of a nod,
And a wink,
maybe. But then
with the hat.
yeah. But Stallone and Caine actually have a professional relationship or friendship due to their time filming Victory together.
Yeah.
So that's why Michael Caine decided or agreed to doing this film. Not that Michael Caine is opposed to doing schlocky films. He's done his fair share.
Jaws: The Revenge.
So I admire that about Mr. Sir Michael Caine, that he's not opposed to doing schlocky type or silliness type movies, and he actually brings, as he will do, his acting game to this film. What'd you think of his acting in the film?
Michael Caine, you know what you're getting with him. He's not a guy that's gonna, completely transform himself like Daniel Day-Lewis or anything. Which is, no, disparaging of Michael Caine's talent as an actor. I think he's got a very, very direct, kind of smooth acting style. I always enjoy seeing him on screen. And, if you haven't watched it in a while, watch him play Austin Powers' dad in that last Austin Powers movie. Just a comedic tour de force.
Agreed. Yeah, we're just Doug. We're just talking about Michael Caine and the fact that he did such a great job on his cameo that apparently the early test screenings were of such that audiences wanted more of him, so they actually rewrote the film to make him the twist at the end.
Yeah, I read that too. I was wondering if like his involvement in the first place was like a nod to the first film, like a cameo in that respect.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, that's it for sure.
But I also saw somewhere that he just really wanted to work with Stallone again because they worked together on Victory.
Yeah, for our listening audience, Doug went to go when he left the camera, and we had this whole discussion in his absence, and now he's come back in. Welcome to the conversation, Doug.
Hey, thank you. Anyway, I heard he wanted to work with Stallone again since then. So.
Yeah, it's great, and we were saying that's cool for Sir Michael. Is he knighted? Is he knighted? I can't remember.
Yeah, sure is.
Okay, so Sir Michael Caine. Yeah. So we're gonna get kicked off the Zoom thing in just about 1 minute here. So we're going to apologize to our live viewers, which we have none of anyways, that we're going to do a quick turnover. Here we go. So I'm going to keep talking. I'm not going to upgrade right now. So I'm going to go new meeting. So you guys get to watch how this is done. You get to watch how this is done. Invite. Copy. You can see live how this is done. We were told that this was free, but I guess we have to sign up because of this virus thing. There we go. So while they're rejoining, how's everyone doing? Come say hi in the chat. Those who are watching, come say hi. Get Carter. That's the film we're reviewing. I'm just filling up dead air here while I, as the host, are awaiting Craig and Doug to rejoin the group. So how about that virus? That coronavirus. We enjoying that or what? Yes. Hopefully they come back. You can skip ahead a couple of minutes if you're watching this not live. We were told that Zoom was going to be free, but I guess I had to sign up for the upgrade before this, so my apologies for that. Oof on that. Come on, guys, let's go. Come join the show. All right. Well, what else can I? Let's read some trivia then while we're waiting for these guys. How's that sound? keep me with my pants down here. Oh, yeah, I gotta let them in. Oops. That's the problem. So this is my fault. Okay, stand by. One sec, guys. Oh, this is a gong show. Why is it not letting me in? There we go. My bad. Middle. Sorry, guys.
Here we are.
Yeah, see, I forgot about that. I had to let you in, so my apologies. So I was like trying to fill dead air there, and I was doing a terrible job. Okay. All right. Well, we lost our one viewer, but we're back. This is the beauty of the iTunes listeners or our audio listeners. They get to miss all the shenanigans. So probably the Zoom upgrade is probably free, but it looks like we had to sign up for it before we started the show. So my apologies for that.
You're really screwing us up today.
Yeah, I know. I'm a terrible person. All right, so I was just going to go into some other trivia, Doug. Did you have more trivia that you want to talk about? We can just kind of wrap the trivia up here.
Hold on. There wasn't too much interesting stuff. So,
well, we have an issue here again. We've had this before with some of Stallone's films. Is we have a clash with the director and the studio of the tone they want the film to be. And I think with Get Carter, this is a film where I wish they had done maybe what the original had done. They wanted, the studio kind of wanted a generic action film from Mr. Action himself, Sylvester Stallone, and I think he might have been kind of looking for a return to that action type film. And again, this film had scenes of it with the car chase, the fight in the elevator. Well, we could talk about that. But a very low body count, and it was dark in some places, but it wasn't. And it had some, cheesy one-liners, but then it didn't. Again, it's another disjointed. It couldn't pick a tone. Did you guys find that too?
Yeah. Sylvester Stallone actually signed on after reading the original screenplay, right, which was much more violent and focused more on the revenge, aspect of the story. So I guess while he was already signed on, the script went through all these changes and became the toned down version that you're talking about. But yeah, I did notice it had trouble. There were some times when I legitimately laughed, but. And usually it was mostly at John C. McGinley, but yeah, it had trouble sticking to one tone.
Yeah.
Well, this kind of the one thing that's funny is when you watch a movie, the year it's made, like in 2000, we were used to certain kinds of visual information being sent our way in film, but it's so funny to see how stuff like that ages. And, we talked about Assassins, how Assassins is like the quintessential 90s movie. This movie is a perfect example of early 2000s filmmaking. You've got those, the retro sort of off-kilter Batman shots, the skip editing, the dated music, using music from the late 90s and the early 2000s instead of traditional score in certain scenes. Just made this movie really feel its age. It didn't feel timeless. A lot of certain good movies, Rocky, for example, was made in the 70s, but you watch it, it's a movie that takes place in the 70s, but there's nothing about it that screams the year it was made. And this film does that, and it's really hard when a film sort of reminds you of the era it was made in.
It's obnoxious. It's an obnoxious film. The score, I should say, in particular, and we're talking about the music and the music aging the film. I watched this and I felt like, oh boy, here we go, new metal, or what that. And I think it's kind of like Fight Club kind of ruined that. And I love Fight Club, and it came out in 1999, so just 1 year before this film. But Fight Club kind of had that Dust Brothers, that techno, whatever, metal type intro, and they try to do it here with Get Carter, the same idea. You have this weird editing and different lenses, and let's just listen to some of the music here that we're talking about. The techno, it doesn't age very well.
No, in like the chase scenes and the fight scenes, it's really like brought to the forefront, and it's distracting.
Yeah. So what do you guys think of Sly's goatee? And was this the first film that he wore one that we were aware of? Major film?
I mean, if you don't count like what Nighthawks, he had like that Van Dyke, right?
He had the full beard in Nighthawks.
He did. You're right.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. This is I think this was the goatee, and I've never liked it on Sly. I think he looks better with the beard, like he's doing now with Samaritan. This goatee is very. Well, you know that he has to like manicure it, right? Like he's got to keep it just a certain length. And so before he goes out and does his butt kicking every day, he takes out his trimmers, he shaves the side of his cheeks, under his chin, and he takes out his little trimmer, keeps it that same length throughout the film. But you know it's dyed too, and that must be a really what's the word I'm looking for? Like he's 54 and he looks great. Here's the thing: he could still kick my ass at the age of 73. But the point is, at 54, you're gonna have great. I think he just would have looked better. I wish he kind of always just went natural with everything. I wish he never touched his face. I wish he let the hair be what it is. Because I think Arnold did a better job of that through much of his years. Just be gray, be a little bit weathered, or Clint Eastwood, for example. I think the manly men of film, when they kind of embrace their age and make that part of just their look, I think you can embrace that and still look tough and be tough.
Yeah.
You think he ever had any hair work done?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, you're adorable, Doug.
Look, I'm blessed with a full head of hair, so
well, sort of. I guess sort of. My wife shaved.
Yeah,
it
you're
all
getting a
off.
little thin up top there.
No, I'm not.
I'm just kidding.
How dare you?
But you know, I hope at 54 that my hair is as thick and luscious as Stallone's. But I didn't know some people just have that. They have a good head of hair throughout.
I think he's had. My feeling is, if you go back and look at some of the Rocky 3 stuff, and he has hair now where he didn't before.
Mm-hmm.
I could be wrong.
Okay.
I could be wrong. And and then here's the thing. Then again, his look for the Samaritan film right now, he's very gray. So, and that hair became gray too. So I know they can do transplants or additions. I'm not sure. He's worth $500 million. He can afford getting his hair did.
I like that he's leaning into the more natural Stallone. At some point he stopped the plastic surgery. So, people that have it done throughout their life, they grow old and they look like, a doll because their face doesn't move.
Okay.
Like he at some point stopped. So he aged, how he should, but whatever surgery he had back in the days, it didn't, I don't think did any lasting, issues where it makes him look completely fake.
So speaking of plastic surgery, let's talk about
Great segue.
Let's talk about Mickey Rourke. Here is an example of an actor where it's too bad he's so effed in the head.
He's great.
Because he's great.
Well, he's another guy that didn't take advantage of a key sort of opportunity. Remember how hot he was when The Wrestler came out?
Yeah.
And then he did Iron Man 3, and then or Iron Man 2, and then he couldn't get arrested again.
Well, The Wrestler was like his return after having so many personal issues, right?
Yeah, it was one of those movies that sort of mirrored, art mirroring life,
Yeah, so he was a boxer. Apparently, so he was a boxer for a few years or whatever it was. And apparently, according to him, he got reconstructive surgery for his face because of the boxing injury. And may I say to you, Mr. Rourke, you should have taken your chances with the broken nose or whatever you thought you had, because there's no way that your surgery or plastic surgery is a better fix than just having your face heal. Does every UFC fighter get plastic surgery after a fight? Have you seen some of those faces after those UFC events? They are just like pumpkin faces, and they don't get plastic surgery on their face. Am I being naive here? Help me out, guys.
No, you're not. And I mean, the thing with Mickey Rourke is, he was, as a young actor, he was a really, really, really handsome guy. And then you look at him now, and age aside, it's weird. And here he was kind of in that middle stage. He probably had a little bit of surgery, and then you get that really weird scene though between him and Sly, where Sly's like, let me see let me see your eyes. And he takes the glasses off and he says, am I still pretty? You know, like it was a weird moment. Like
That was a callback.
To what?
Let me find it in my notes.
Well, here's a little exchange here. So let's hear the Mickey Rourke and Sly exchange. Now, these obviously co-starred again together in the Expendables film. Did they have a working history before this film? I couldn't remember off the top of my head.
I know Mickey had a working relationship with Frank Stallone. They had done Barfly together.
Oh, maybe. Okay. Let's hear
Hey,
some.
I'm sorry.
No,
It said in what you want to do your
No,
do
no.
the
Go ahead. Go
bit
ahead.
first?
Go ahead.
In the trivia section, it said that Sly and Mickey Rourke were good friends before this, and it was kind of Sly's job to make sure Mickey showed up every day and behaved, because he was in the middle of like his drug addiction and shit.
Yeah. Weird, eh?
So they did have a relationship. I don't know if they worked together before this though.
Yeah, so they did have a relationship of enough that Sly's like, no, I really want him to play Cyrus the Virus here, and
Movie.
oh, okay. I know.
Tell you something, Jack. You see all this shit here? You see it? This is the new world, brother. I'm online. These are my girls, my business. Why you running around chasing deadbeats for some fucking asshole? I'm swimming in the big pool, baby. I got the juice around here now.
So yeah, so Cyrus plays basically his role in this film is he's the guy that gets the woman for the Alan Cumming character. I'm a little bit confused. He basically, so Alan Cumming, we haven't introduced his character yet. He's a computer mogul. He's worth $900 million, and he apparently doesn't want anything to do with the pornography industry, but he is entangled in it a little bit because of
He either financed it or create or provided the software.
Oh, maybe it's the software. Now, this is really quaint because this is 2000. It's kind of the early days of the, pornography, as we know, drives the internet technology. It's kind of, it is what it is. And we're seeing here quick little images or stills of like one of the scenes, there's the terrible teens. I think that's what it said there. Sorry. So I think this early day of the internet providing this plethora of nudity for the masses was kind of quaint and almost like deep webbish back in the day, where it's now it's like a McDonald's drive-through. But Doug's like, I know. Terrible teens. Is that your favorite spot to go to, or?
No. I stay away from the teens.
Yeah, who wants to get a visit from law enforcement by typing that into their browser?
Well, yeah,
that's right. They're watching.
Yeah, they're watching because of Get Carter. Can you imagine?
So while she's on screen, can we talk about what's her name, Rona Mitra or something?
Julia Lewis? Yeah, go ahead. Oh.
She really surprised me because I completely forgot she was in this movie. But did you guys ever see a movie from probably 2010-ish called Doomsday? It was like an Escape from New York ripoff.
Oh.
Crossed with Mad Max. Well, she plays like the lead in that movie. She's got an eye patch and everything. Awesome movie. If you have a chance, check it out. It's called Doomsday. It was directed by Neil Marshall, who made he directed a bunch of Game of Thrones, but theatrically he did The Descent, I think it is.
I've seen that one.
Yeah. Really fun movie though. It's like post-apocalyptic, and she's great in it. I had completely forgotten she was in Get Carter because she's pretty forgettable in this, but in Doomsday she's awesome.
Did you ever see Life of David Gale?
No, I have purged every Kevin Spacey movie from my memory.
Ooh.
Right. Yeah, that's one of them. But she was a student of his that was trying to blackmail him, and in that I think her character's name was like Berlin or something like that. It's like a name of a city, and she was really, really cute in that, really good looking.
Yeah, in this movie,
that Kevin Spacey was gay.
What, in the movie?
Yeah.
No, he was. Was he gay?
It was no.
Is he gay?
Oh, it's In real life?
Yeah.
Did he come out of the closet? I didn't know that. Is Harvey Weinstein innocent? Okay, so
Moving on.
yeah,
I think we're going into worst of the best territory.
yeah, no kidding. So that being said, yeah, she's great. She played a good like strung out, like too bad for her, wrong place, wrong time individual in this whole mess, this pornography ring.
Great wigs.
Yeah. Well, as we saw later, Carter pulls one of them off in the later scene, pulls her off her head. Now, what are your guys' feeling on that sequence where Carter tries to extract information from her regarding her friend Eddie, who was friends with Richie, which is Carter's son, who got killed? Or we did acknowledge what this plot's about. I feel like we're doing a horrible job describing this movie. I almost feel like
you'll fix it in the edit.
Well, no, this one I don't think I can fix this.
We don't know. The problem is we can't. It's hard for us to follow the plot.
Well, and I will say that my hope is, and this is usually the case, anyone who listens to our show, if they've gone this far, they've seen the movie. Yeah, if you haven't seen Get Carter, at the end of the day, yes, Carter's brother got killed by these people because he was going to expose, basically, he was going to expose that his daughter and Carter's niece got raped during a
filming.
What do you call it? Was it filmed for the internet, or was it?
Somebody filmed it.
I think they were all like that was their brand, right? They would trick these girls or drug them into coming back to some place with them and have their way with them.
Yeah, and now Rachel Leigh Cook, who plays the niece, she was 20 during the filming of this film. I always like to look at their ages. So Stallone was 54. She's 20, but she does look like she's 16 or whatever. She looks like a teenager still. Did you ever see that movie, She's All That?
Yes.
Did you know that if you wear glasses, you're ugly?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That's all. You take your glasses off and let your hair down. All of a sudden, you're a prom queen.
Yeah, just again like Adrian from Rocky. Take out those glasses.
That's right.
Do you guys want to talk about that scene where Sly interrogates her?
Well,
is that the one that you said took a cue from Rocky?
Did you watch the video that I made?
I saw the clip come up in the movie when and I was like, oh, this is the scene Ryan was referring to.
Yeah, well,
did you add some music or something?
Dialogue.
Yeah, I underlaid the first date scene of the Rocky film underneath.
Oh.
When she's trying to leave.
Yeah, it's like I thought it was very good. It didn't get the traction I thought it deserved. I don't know if people actually listened to it, because when you watch and listen to the clip, you have the Rocky Adrian sound scene underneath of the scene where he's trapping this girl. And yeah, it actually lined up really well where he's like tells Adrian, "You have nice eyes," and he's actually Carter's holding up her face, looking at her eyes. Well, I don't know.
Oh, I'll have to go back and watch that.
Well, in answer to your question, Ryan, I'm never a fan of like a man kind of cornering a woman.
No, you shouldn't be.
Yeah, so it's not. I mean, if a girl feels like trapped or like she's being confined or something like that, that always kind of gets me a little jittery.
So here's the scene. We'll play it right now. Here's the scene, and I know the Carter's the tough guy. I know he's looking for the killer of his brother. I understand that. Even during this part right now, he doesn't know that his niece has been raped. So he's just an angry, tough individual. And I get that's the character that he is. He's a mob enforcer. He enforces, what the mob wants for him to do in Las Vegas. He's not a saint. He's an amoral or a dark hero. But that being said, this girl, even if she has something to do, we know that he can break her in half. And so it is kind of like, and he gets right in her face. And it's a very uncomfortable. It's a weirdly shot. If I was the director of this film, I might have shot it and directed a little bit differently. To, she ain't going anywhere. She's obviously pathetic. She's a strung out, sex worker. But check out this, kind of aggressive scene here. Oh, did he already do it? Right here. Gets right in her face.
What was he to you?
I told you. I met him at the bar. He was just a guy I met. That's all.
That's all.
He was nicer than most.
Did you know he was married?
Look,
Did you know that?
what do you want?
Right there, like it's about a kiss her or
I talked
something.
to him, okay? It's not a crime. I gotta be somewhere.
I want to know what happens.
Now, if you didn't know the dialogue, that's why I put the Adrian and Rocky scene underneath here, because it totally reminded that when he puts the hand out and she can't quote unquote get away.
Yeah, yeah.
And I thought, boy, that's uncomfortable, because in this scene he is trapping her. He is making no bones about it that he doesn't want her to go away, and he's intimidating her without, quote unquote, laying a hand on her, but creating an area of danger. But all the same, that's his character. He's a mob enforcer. He's not a nice guy,
The anti-hero.
Right. You know what the body count for this film is? Did anyone do a body count? By Carter's hands?
1?
5? Not even 5, is it?
I think it's 2. Because even the 2 mob guys that got crashed their car, it's never that's not a car crash that would kill 2 people wearing a seatbelt.
No, I assumed it was just the one at the end when he shoots somebody in the back.
No, he killed Eddie he actually threw Eddie off the
Oh,
balcony.
yeah. Well, Eddie killed himself. Come on.
And didn't he kill Cyrus too?
No.
I know he held the gun up to him, and then I thought there was like a gunshot.
No, it was
Like
an
a sound
Eddie.
in the transition.
It was a transition editing, kind of a donk. Like a heavy sound, but it wasn't a gunshot. It was ridiculous. No, he did not shoot him point blank. That was the thing.
So stupid. He should have. Can I bring it back to the cat piss comment?
Oh yeah,
That he makes, speaking of Cyrus.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
So when Craig was talking about him pulling Cyrus's sunglasses off and wanted to look at his eyes, and Cyrus says, "Still pretty," and he says, "Yeah, like cat piss in the snow." So
Yeah, I got the scene here if you want to hear it.
yeah, play it.
And just think about where you are. Because this ain't yesterday, Slick.
Relax. I'm just playing with you a little bit.
Oh, yeah, I get that. Don't put your hands on me.
Come on, let me see your eyes. Come on.
Whatever turns you on, Jack. Still pretty?
Yeah. Like cat piss in the snow.
Sorry.
It was such a random line that I felt like I had to research it a little bit. So
please.
It's a callback from the Michael Caine's character in the original, who talks. He's talking to another guy, removes his sunglasses and goes, "Still the same, piss holes in the snow." And that the phrase eyes like piss holes in the snow is in English, like an old English phrase meaning deeply sunken or squinting eyes. And it's most commonly used to describe somebody after a hangover.
Oh.
Okay. Well, the insult makes more sense for the scene.
Absolutely.
But sure. And I'm sure
But with no explanation, like what the hell does it mean?
There were people in the theater that had seen Get Carter in 1971, and they were like, "Oh my God, they did it! The call back."
What a great callback! Did you notice? And this again is Mickey Rourke. It's frustrating because you watch him, and every scene he's in, he's great. You can kind of tell he's a dick.
Like in real life.
Yes, and I don't know how to explain it. I don't know. Maybe he's a saint, but you got this feeling he just seems like, I don't know. And the other thing I've noticed, and I've noticed this when you watch him in any film since his messed up surgeries, especially this one. This is the beginning of those surgeries. He's never completely in the light for very long. And look at a lot of his scenes there. Half his face is always covered up in shadow and lighting. and
Yeah,
they never
it's
hold it.
terrible.
They never hold his face in a shot by itself for very long. He's edited out quickly, or he's in shadows. And I wonder, is there a discussion about that, or is that the editor and director saying, "Oh man, this guy looks weird. Should we just like?" I wonder what the discussion is to have his face like this right here, half in shadow, because you don't see that all the time. Like how many times you just see people's face always in half, and when you watch them throughout the film, you never quite get it like on his face.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was some stupid effing stylistic choice, like he's will obscure him in the shadows to show the how he's sort of on the dark side of the internet. So it wouldn't surprise me, but that's probably the kind of dribble you need to spout to get like Terry Hatcher and Eva Longoria. So
Can we just say that Stephen K. bedded Terry Hatcher and Eva Longoria? Like that's amazing. It's weird. Wow. Like I said, I gotta Google what he looks like. Anyways. All right, is there another scene, Doug, that you want to see, or Craig?
Let's see. Did you do any Michael Caine? Like any of the Michael Caine stuff?
Oh, dude, oh my goodness, this guy, he bats way above his average.
He's brilliant. Oh, Michael Caine?
Yeah, no, Stephen K.
No.
Oh, you got a picture of him?
Yeah.
Craig's on the K.
He had a
Like,
sick
the Michael
soul
Caine
patch
note.
at one point.
Oh no.
Man,
Had to be the 90s.
you must be a tripod. All right. All right, so here's the Michael Caine meeting the Jack Carter character. So of course the big thing for everyone here is we all know that he played this character 20 years previous, or 29 years previous, and so it's exciting for the Get Carter fanatics to watch this torch passing, so to speak. And it should be noted there was a plan for a sequel to this movie.
Thank God.
Really?
So it should be noted too that this movie had 11% Rotten Tomato rating. That's pretty low, and
Is it?
yeah.
You don't say.
And the other thing of note here, we forgot to mention before we get into this Michael Caine sequence here, this movie did have some accolades. The film was nominated for worst. Can you believe it, Doug? Worst actor.
The Razzies? On the Razzies?
That's right. So again, Stallone.
Wait, there was another one. One that I never heard of.
Oh.
At the 2000 Stinkers Bad Movie Awards, the film received 4 nominations: Worst Picture, Worst Director, Worst Actor, and Worst Remake or Sequel.
Yeah. So
2000 Stinkers Bad Movie Awards. You ever hear that?
no, that's a new one. I wonder if they're still around. Let's just check that real quick. Are they still around?
Los Angeles-based group of film buffs and movie critics devoted to honoring the worst films of the year. I don't think it's as illustrious as the Razzies.
As a Razzie.
No,
it's
they
like-
stopped in 2006. They couldn't take down the Razzies. They stopped in 2006.
Mm-hmm.
So the Razzies are still the champion awarders of the worst. But they just have a real. They just love to rag on Stallone. I don't know why.
Yeah, they do.
Because he wasn't even the worst thing about this film. It's not really his fault. There was a misdirection, bad editing, terrible dialogue. I mean, maybe it's his fault for choosing it, but
Well, also, I mean, as much as I hate to say it, Jack Carter's not that great of a character. He's got that, those 2 catchphrases, I'm Jack Carter and you don't want to know me.
Sure.
And then the other one, which I actually think is pretty cool, and I think John C. McGinley makes a joke about it when he says, we can take this to the next level, which I thought was a funny line. But I mean, aside from that, he's not that interesting of a character. I mean, the other thing I think we could have got is some kind of flashback or something establishing the relationship he had with his brother, because John C. McGinley points out that his brother wasn't that great of a guy, and obviously they didn't have a great relationship, and Jack's doing this almost out of a sense of loyalty to family.
agreed.
Yeah, can you expand on that.
Yeah, no. I wanted to point out before I forget, there was a scene where Jack Carter goes to the widow, Geraldine, was that her name?
Yeah, that was Miranda Richardson's, right? That was Liam Neeson's wife.
Oh, is
Or
that?
was the-
No, that's Natasha Richardson. I think.
Richardson's. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Then who the heck is Miranda Richardson?
I did do a little quick, Wikipedia, of course, on her because her name is familiar. She's been in a lot of stuff, so she's she's done a very career between theaters, movies, and TV. So she's a very busy actress, but she's just never reached like the.
I don't know why I thought she was the Liam Neeson wife.
I think just the last name, maybe. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Same with Rachel Leigh Cook. She right now, she's 40 years old now, so she was 20 when this movie came out, and she's had a big career too. If you look at her credits, but they're all kind of just
a lot of voice work.
A lot of voice work, which is too bad. She's very attractive. Let's see here. She was on like her last TV performance was 2020's Criminal Minds. She's been in some music videos. She's done a lot of She plays Tifa Lockhart in the video games franchise. She's the voice actress for that.
Do you remember prior to She's All That, her big breakout?
Josie and the Pussycats?
No, she did that. One of those "This Is Your Brain on Drugs" commercials.
Oh,
did she?
With the egg, in the frying pan.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So your brain on drugs are yummy. I actually wanted to point out too. You guys know CinemaScore, right?
Yes.
So CinemaScore, what they do, and what I like about CinemaScore is, for better for worse, what they do is they actually poll people when they're leaving the theater. So it's like their initial type reaction. So what I like about them, even more than Rotten Tomatoes, this is my feeling, is because they're polling the average audience member right after they've seen the film. Whereas a critic is there to pick and pull apart and analyze. Whereas a moviegoer with the popcorn and their kids or whatever, they come out of the theater like, oh yeah, we had a lot of fun. It was great. Well, what would you give it on a score of A+ to F, right? That's the scale. Mm-hmm. So I've found that for many films, most people are pretty positive. Just they had a good time. They had a fun watching the movie because they paid money. They went to the movies. However, the average audience member who came out of this movie when they were polled by CinemaScore got a D+. They gave this film, I know. So that's very telling. So because now, like I said, you got these people walking out of the movie, and they're walking out and they're just not happy. They're just
in all honesty, I mean, he shoots a guy in the back.
Mm-hmm.
Now, understandably, Michael Caine says, I'm not going to turn around or whatever. I'm not going to justify your your gun, and he shoots him in the back. But still, at the end of the day, the movie ends with our hero, quote unquote hero, shooting somebody in the back.
True.
It was, who was it? It was the director or the studio that wanted a toned down version? It was the director.
I think the studio wanted kind of more of a romp and stomping type action film, and I think the director wanted to follow the original script of a dark revenge film.
All right. Well, look at it. Look at films like Taken or Man on Fire, which I mentioned before, where these guys, it's just take no prisoners kind of thing. Like, you want answers, you want to get revenge on the people that hurt your family or hurt you. You kill everybody that's in your way. All right, without question. And I think this movie would have benefited from that type of violence.
Exactly, and I think you brought up a good point. Is that's what this film should have been. That's what I mean. The body count was 2.
Yeah.
It's
not okay.
And you alluded to it earlier, but we didn't talk about it. I mean, is it possibly the worst car chase in history?
Terrible car chases, and I'm not a car chase fan. Like, I don't enjoy. I think I've mentioned this before. I don't necessarily enjoy car chases, but when these kicked in, I sped up my video player to like times 2 or 3 just to get through it. Like, yeah. And
they probably looked like exciting car chases because the one that culminates in that crash, it's one of the worst car chases ever. It's just like 2 guys like swerving in and out of traffic.
Yeah. It's like a dance more than a chase. It's weird.
Yeah, and they play chicken. Cobra. They play chicken.
Yeah.
And it's just the whole idea is the bad guys say, "Oh, I don't want to get hit head on," so that's when they go to the side and get stuck in a stairwell.
Terrible.
And I should say that for those who voted for this film, thank you. We want to make it known that we put this film up for our poll on our Twitter and our Facebook page, and Get Carter won.
We could have been talking about Shade right now. Thank you.
We'll get there.
Oh man.
We could have been looking at Thandie Newton in S&M gear, but no.
You bastards!
Let's ever. I won't say. Okay. Yeah, and what else was I going to say? Oh shoot, you lost my train of thought about Thandie Newton and her gear.
Yeah.
About the car chase and playing chicken.
Oh yeah, just it should have been a straight up type Taken film or a Man on Fire. Those are amoral heroes, like especially the Denzel Washington character of Man on Fire. That's a great film. And
it is.
Here we're kind of conflicted, like Craig was saying, like he shoots a guy in the back at the end of the film, and we're not led to believe he'll kind of be that way. But if he was just literally, he should have broken that girl's arm when he went to the apartment. That's what the movie would have been today. And, they would have done that. This guy is like, I would have rather he came back like a John Wick type, like, you know what?
Like laser focused.
Yeah, you killed my brother. I work for the mob. I am not a good person. Like, the Unforgiven did that, right? Like, I am not a good person. I might be the main character in this story, but you have killed somebody who's my family. You raped my niece, and I work for a mob in Las Vegas. So I'm coming to Seattle. I'm going to break arms. I'm going to throw people off balconies. I'm going to shoot people in the back. I'm going to get the information I need. Revenge, and he goes home. That would have been a different, yeah.
Torture, maybe some elements of torture, like in Taken. Where he hooks that guy up to the light bulb and electrocutes him.
Oh man.
All right, let's while we have a couple minutes here before we have to restart Zoom, let's hear this interplay with. I know we're all over the place, but Michael Caine. We want to get a soundbite of Michael Caine is acting with Sly here.
Can you hold on a second? Can I help you with something?
I'm Jack Carter, Richie's brother.
I'll call you right back. Christ. I'm sorry I wasn't at the funeral. Never could take them. Would you like some coffee or something?
No, I'm fine, thanks.
He's a good bloke, Richie was. Saved my ass a lot of money just by doing a solid job.
So how long was he running this place for you?
Well, since we've been up. About 5 years.
5 years and no problems?
No.
No enemies?
I'll skip it to the part I was hoping for. Oops,
Storm?
When he gets mad.
The one, yeah.
Like I know something.
There we go, sorry.
There's something you're not telling me.
Yeah.
And what the bloody hell does that mean?
Just relax.
Listen, I don't like hard cases coming in here and talking to me like I know something. If there's someone out there putting out something about me, then I want to know who the hell it is. And when I know what it is and who's been saying it, I might just take the matter up with you, Jack. Mightn't I?
You're a big man,
So British.
but you're out of shape with me. It's a full-time job, so please, sit down.
So there you go. You're, what did he say there? You're, I had it written down.
A hard case?
No, Jack Carter's insult him. Oh, you're a large man, but you're out of shape or something, and staying in shape's a full-time job. Or Sly's always got to do he's always got to do a little bit of a. Did you notice that, Craig? Yeah, little bit of a.
Got to shame people. body shame.
The body shaming Stallone.
It did happen a lot in his. Let's be honest, in his '90s career and here in 2000, we've said that in a few of the films here where he has body shamed people or diet shamed them. And let's hold that thought. I'm going to reinvite you guys right now. Okay.
All right.
Sorry, guys. We're going to do this again. New meeting. Oh, there we go. And then invite. Copy URL. See how it's done. Now remember to go. And we're waiting for them to join. There they go. Okay, middle. Share.
All right.
Hey, that was quicker. All right. Okay.
Nice.
All right. So yeah, the body shaming and the diet shaming. It's. I wish had we known when we'd gone back and revisited these old Sly films, if we should have tallied and kept a log of the. You're a large man, but you're out of shape. Okay.
Not like me.
It's another funny line that I like when he was talking to when Jack Carter was talking to Miranda Richardson. He said, "What was your relationship like with your husband before the accident?" Did you catch that? He said before the accident, like he had to clarify. Can you imagine if she's like, "Well, I
It was
got
right after the accident. We never fought.
yeah, we know it's been quiet."
We never fought.
And then the following day, they were having a conversation, and it was horrible dialogue. Her delivery of her dialogue was terrible. She really did phone it in, Miranda Richardson. I know she was given really crap dialogue, but you saw here with Michael Caine that we just showed that even when you're given kind of crap, you just kind of bring it, and Michael Caine can bring it, even with the crappy whatever. He just brings that British, mightn't I, that kind of, where Miranda Richardson was like, she was lethargic and boring.
Cardboard.
Yeah, and but she said, she says to Jack's character, or Stallone's character, she said, I just don't know if I'm going to be alone for the rest of my life. And it's like, hey, you literally lost your husband like a week ago. Like, let's tone down the rest of your life talk. But she was talking to him like she's been alone for 5 or 6 years after the death of a spouse. You know what I mean? It was a weird.
Right.
The dialogue didn't. You're still in mourning. I don't think the funeral was just held a day ago, and you're talking about being alone for the rest of your life. Like, anyways.
Yeah, his body's not even cold.
One of my favorite lines in the film was, I think it was done by, I'm not too sure who it was done by, to be honest with you. Mickey Rourke, I think, did it. It says,
he's got a couple of good ones.
Yeah, he said, "You're a one-legged man in an ass-kicking contest."
Yeah. He had another good one. The rabbit's out of the hat, Jack. Let's see if it jumps.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Those are cheesy, just awful lines.
So throughout the film, Jack Carter is trying to have a relationship with the niece. So, kind of be there for her. She's just lost her dad. She's family. That's fine. I get the motive. What I'm confused about is at the end of the film, he, shaves his goatee, and there's a comment like, "Oh, and I like your new look," and all of that stuff. It's kind of stupid to even make that an issue. But what I want to know is, why couldn't he have a relationship with her? Like, why was this?
Nobody knows. Your guess is as good as any of ours.
Well, maybe the sequel would have gotten into that.
Oh, okay.
We were robbed of it.
Don't say that again. We're robbed of it.
And can we make the
One
argument?
of the great tragedies of our time.
Can we make the argument that this is our? I had no idea this was a Christmas film.
Mm-hmm.
So can we? So starting next Christmas season, I'm gonna get Carter in for the.
Oh Jesus!
You do that.
Yeah.
I'm going to mark my words. There was more Christmas carols and Christmas trees in this film than there is in Die Hard. To be honest with you,
I'd rather not.
I'm gonna hold you to that, Brian. Ryan. I'm gonna make sure you watch this effing movie around Christmas.
Well, I'm not watching it. I'm just talking about it.
Oh.
Hey, there's one. I know we didn't talk too much about Alan Cummings' character, but
yeah.
Can you play the golf course like why I like golf monologue?
That's great. That's a great monologue.
You're playing it fast and loose with the word "great," aren't we?
Yeah. Well, it's designed to be. Yeah, we'll get to it, and it's designed to be that he's saying that it's weird because he's kind of afraid of Jack Carter because it's a big guy and he's a known mafia enforcer or whatever, mob enforcer, but then out of the blue he kind of gives this analogy of like, I can get rid of people that I don't like. It was an odd like analogy or metaphorical threat to the guy that's going to threaten your life. It was a weirdly. It was almost like the writers had a great metaphor about something, but they wanted to throw it in, but it didn't quite fit. What are we talking about here?
It was like in his notebook of cool lines.
But it's not cool, and it doesn't fit. It's not a great metaphor by any means. It's ridiculous.
Tell us how you really feel, Doug.
I like his character, and I like Alan Cummings. I think he's a great actor.
Mm-hmm.
But this is just shoehorned. It seems like this like empty threat that he gives him here. Mr. Carter. He calls him Mr. Carter the whole time.
Yeah, Mr. Carter.
When you spend
He was
most of your
great as
life stuck
Nightcrawler.
behind a computer,
Yeah.
things like golf and girls become pretty important, you know? But they don't go real well with the glasses and pocket protector image my stockholders prefer. So,
So he pulls for you.
It's a funny scene there of them on the cart. I don't know why that makes you laugh.
you know why I like golf, Mr. Carter? Because the ball just keeps going away. Only sport where you hit that little sucker and it doesn't come back at you. I've got to want to go after it and get it. And when I get to it, I just knock it away again. See what I'm saying, Mr. Carter?
No, actually.
Once I get rid of it, I never want to see it again.
So,
like you hit it and then you just walk up to it and it's there. So you do see it again, and you hit it again. I don't understand what he's getting at. Plus, there's this threatening like music bed underneath what he's saying. Like, who are you threatening, you little waif?
yes, that's the thing is he says, you know what I'm saying there, Mr. Carter. So is he saying to him like, you go away?
Yeah.
Like, don't
yeah,
bother
pretty
me
much.
anymore. Okay.
And he's really just talking about the 18th hole, right?
Yeah, because otherwise you see the ball again.
I love this scene here. This is kind of a callback to our Death Race 2000. Look at this.
But this after the threat, like there's this little like where it shows him driving. Like, how does that conversation go? And like the threat's done. Now it just shows him driving to the clubhouse, I guess.
This
Is
one,
there more threats?
in terms of Seattle movies, is this the most Seattle-ist movie? I know Assassins part of it took place in Seattle, right? But this movie, like, it's raining all the time, which is what I've heard about Seattle.
So in 7, it takes place in Seattle.
Oh,
too.
right. 7 might be the most Seattle-ist movie.
It rains in every scene but the last one.
All right. Sorry, it looks like our
there-
stream just stopped, which is fine. We're still recording, but I'm not sure what happened, to be honest with you. Oh, well.
The internet had enough of our nonsense.
Yeah, probably.
There was another Alan Cummings moment when he goes to his office or his house or whatever, and there's that big burly guy there, and he calls him a cappuccino. That actually made me laugh at that part.
Great foam.
Oh, okay.
He goes, yeah. He's. Are you gonna find it?
Yeah, you keep talking. I'll see if I can find it.
No, that big jacked up like.
And then that guy
I don't
Sly beats him up later in the movie.
Just one punch.
Yeah. Nobody likes the list guy. That was the joke.
And it's like a jump cut too, so you don't even like the guy disappears.
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
magic. It's like he hits him and the guy's gone. It's like poof. If you put a poof sound effects, it's like a magic trick.
So let's
That's
do.
a Christmas tree.
Do you want to do the elevator scene?
Is that like the largest elevator in movie history?
Because there is one part in the scene that this is actually for me the best part of the whole film. Not just the scene, the camera trick or the story trick of him showing in his
like,
mind the different.
What could happen?
That's fine. That's kind of cliche. We've seen it before in
yeah.
films, but actually, there's a scene in this sequence that had they patterned the whole film after this kind of energy, it would have been a different film. And so I'll show you what I'm talking about.
Good thing.
This elevator is like studio apartments in New York.
It's a bad time, Con.
Boy, you're telling me. Remember, Peter, don't
The
you?
elevator Christmas music.
Yeah.
Jack! No! No, Jack! Say, Jack, when I said you take care of the business or the business will take care of you, did we have a bad connection on the cell? Maybe you weren't listening? Ah, fuck it doesn't matter, does it? Hey, Sport, I was real sorry to hear about you and Audrey. What are you gonna do? He's the big dog. There's no way around that. He gets the girl, Jack. You get what you get.
It's actually a good line. He gets the girl. I like that. We'll talk about that actually after. We've got to mention his girlfriend with the boss. Okay, I'll show you the scene I'm talking about. It's coming up. Right here. That's actually, I love that sequence of Sly in the character, but Sly doing that, I've never seen him in a film ever since then kick somebody like that. That violent, like kicking.
Like the stomp?
Yes. That's the Mafia movie. And this is what I was talking about before at the very beginning of this episode. Of the wasted years that we've had of Sly, and I know he's wanted to do a Mafia film before, like he's wanted to do Scarpa, and this would have been the perfect age, the perfect stage in his career to attack that kind of role. And this movie teased me, anyways, as a Sly fan, because I am a fan of his. But I think most fans who are truly fans of his are frustrated by his career choices, frustrated about some of the movies he's done, where it's like instead of doing this film, I wish he had been, I guess hindsight's 20/20 for everyone, including actors. It's just like that sequence of him just kicking the crap. I want to show it again. I'll just mute it though. Of when he's just over that character, throws him in, punches him. And this would have been a great sequence from like a Goodfellas type film. That's what I mean. Doom, doom. That's a great.
It reminds me of Danny DeVito. Jesus Christ, Tommy DeVito and Jimmy Conway beating up Billy Batts in the bar, because Jimmy Conway, who's Robert De Niro's character, starts Billy Batts in Goodfellas. Anyone?
Yeah. It's right. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, but it's like that's what, when you mentioned it, I didn't notice it when I first watched it, but when you mentioned it, that's kind of what it reminded me of.
Goodfellas has Hollywood or cinema's greatest party ever, which was the Billy Batts welcome home party.
Sure.
It's like the best party ever.
And with a bang. Oh, but there was like 3 guys there. Welcome home party.
I just realized why the stream got suspended on YouTube. It's for violation. I guess they probably have. It's okay. I think it came back in before, but it doesn't matter. It's still recorded on our side of things. It just means.
So they have some kind of algorithm or something they can.
Which is weird because it must be like a visual too. Because our other episodes, I have sound clips throughout the whole thing, and they never get. It's
unless somebody ratted us out. Maybe one of those guys that gave us a bad review.
Oh, maybe, yeah. It doesn't matter. The show will go on. I can always re-upload this one anyways, and the audio version, edited version, gets re-uploaded on our channel all the same. But anyways, all right. So we've only got 20 minutes left because I don't want to do a fourth reboot because I don't think this movie deserves that much more.
Well, you wanted to mention his relationship with the girlfriend of the.
Yeah. Well, so that actress was played by Gretchen Mol, and she's been
uncredited.
Yeah, why?
I don't know, but the mobster voiced by, we never see the mobster. Tom Sizemore.
Yeah.
He would. They should have fleshed out his character better. He's a great mobster type.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, the frustrating thing about that is you don't even need that whole. You don't even need that whole part.
Right, with her.
Yeah, I mean, it shows that Jack's having a relationship with somebody that he's not supposed to be having a relationship with, but there's no consequences to it. Right. I mean, it's another sort of unnecessary moment. It fleshes out the Jack Carter character a little bit, but I mean, it adds nothing to the story. You could argue that it shows that the life he has back in Vegas isn't as great as we believe it to be at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, and I was going to say that maybe that's the sequel. That's the sequel. This is where, if the sequel existed, because we know the movie ends with him looking at a map going back to Vegas.
Yeah, Jack's Back is the sequel.
Ugh.
Jack Carter 2, Jack's Back.
Jack's Back. Oh, yeah. But yeah, I mean, yeah. So Get Carter 2. What would Get Carter? Would it have been called Get Carter 2 or Got Carter?
Got Carter.
Maybe just Carter. Stallone loves those arbitrary sequel titles.
You're right.
It probably would have just been called Carter.
Maybe it would have been called Get.
Yeah. I'm surprised they didn't give him some stupid effing nickname that incorporated Get. Like Carter will get you.
Oh my.
Oh man.
Well, okay, let's talk about that. It's called Get Carter, but we know in the English language, get means take, or it's over there, bring it here, call for Carter, get him. Now that makes sense for the first maybe 2 minutes of the film when he was utilized as his mob enforcer. His job is to, what was it? People make promises. Is his job to remind them of those promises or whatever. And so that opening sequence is him doing that he's enforcing, the loan shark or whatever it might be. But then the title Get Carter doesn't make sense for the rest of the movie.
We really can't blame this movie for that because it's the remake of Get Carter from '71. So I don't know how much getting is done there.
And this is where I go with Craig. They should have played it safe and named it after the book and not the movie. And then they could say Carter Comes Home. That makes more sense. Home was Seattle. Oh, okay. He's gone. He was raised in this area. He left it for Las Vegas, but he came back to take care of his brothers. The revenge of his brother's death. A simple revenge flick would have been much more satisfying.
How about Carter's Revenge?
Sure. But we have Get Carter. It just when you watch the trailer, that's what I'm getting at. When you watch the trailer, as the way it's cut, it's designed like a Guy Ritchie film, like a Snatch mixed with Fight Club, that type of that, and it's not that at all. It tries to be this neo noir. It's supposed to be like a smart thriller, but it's neither smart nor a thriller.
I thought that too. I had that feeling. So I looked up the cinematographer, Mauro Fiore.
Oh wow!
And I thought that it had that feel. There was one.
Did that dude work on some of those movies?
No, that's what I was expecting. He worked on Smoking Aces.
Oh,
which I get.
Yes, I thought of Smoking Aces that's that 2000s, 1998 to 2002 type films, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that Smoking Aces was 06, but it did have that.
My apologies.
I felt the same way, that it had that kind of feel, but maybe that's just how, or maybe he took maybe Mauro Fiore took a page out of Guy Ritchie's cinematographer's book.
Smoking Aces, by the way, the best Chris Pine performance you'll ever see.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Was that his last?
Chris Pine?
Died? Was that?
No, Chris Pine is.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I was
thinking Chris Penn.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
Chris Pine is the new Captain Kirk.
Yeah. Yes. I always get
in
them.
Smoking Aces, you might not recognize him, but he's exceptional in that movie. Smoking Aces is a really cool, fun film. I wish we were talking about it right now.
Well, we're not. We're not.
This is
guys. When we run out of Sly movies to do, which we're going to do eventually,
right?
Let's add Smoking Aces to the list of movies that we'll cover.
I promise you, we will. Mark today as the day we agree to that.
All right. So I want to show this scene here. This is for one of our faithful listeners. Believe it or not, Seco, or one of our you all know Seco, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's a listener of all of our shows. He listens to Slycast, he listens to Rocky Minute. In fact, he sent me a screenshot of our dual release there, Craig, because he's got both you and I on the same feed, and he's like, I don't know which one to download from. So I thought that was funny, and he says,
and they are different because we basically flipped the interviews.
That's right. I actually saved mine best for last. It looks like you did the same for yours. All right, so. Yeah,
I actually listened to when I downloaded the episode to listen to, because I do listen to my episodes. I downloaded from your feed, Ryan.
Oh, I downloaded yours as well. So there you go. Fair play. So what was I going to say here? Yeah, Seiko.
Oh, Seiko.
He wanted to make sure that we acknowledge this acting performance by Sly when he cries. So let's play that a little bit for Seiko. This is for you, Seiko. He says this is his favorite moment in the movie is Sly cry.
You should talk to her. She'll listen.
Oh, we should set it up. So the character Jack Carter has seen the video of his niece being sexually assaulted, and he's now seen her for the first time after seeing that video, and he's kind of letting her know in a really 54-year-old man way that, you know, you're a sexual assault victim and I know about it. I want to comfort you, but he doesn't just say it. It's kind of like alluded to. She finally catches on, oh, you know that I've been assaulted, and instead of just talking about it. But it's supposed to be a tender moment between niece and uncle here. So he tells her, you're special, and here we go. I think this is it, where he looks up at the skies and cries a little bit.
None of this is your fault. You gotta believe that. No. None of this is your fault. None of it.
There you go. So that's for you, Seiko.
Mm-hmm.
Powerful moment. Oscar moment.
Now, is that shark skin suit waterproof?
Yes.
Okay.
Without a doubt, yes. Mike Kunda has this suit.
Yes, I've seen the. I think he did it for, I think Halloween, probably around that time. I know he's posted it on either his Twitter or his Facebook.
He was during the Pretender. He was going through his wardrobe of Sly, the Sly clothing that he owns, and the gray suit was part of his wardrobe.
Yeah, well, in another universe, Mike has a successful Get Carter tour in Seattle.
Oh man, visiting all the filming
Get
locations.
Carter filming location.
All right, here we go. Here, this is where that we're talking about where Carter puts the gun to the face of Cyrus here in the fight, and Mickey Rourke. Great
Looks
acting
dead.
here. He looks pretty dead, but he's not. But they told him, hey, Mickey Rourke, don't move anything in your face. And he's like, don't worry, I can't. There's a little bit of a sound. I did hear there, Doug. I did hear more of a gunshot sound there.
I think he killed him.
A better film would have shown the gun go off.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Or him squeezing the trigger.
Because he did kill Eddie off that balcony.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there were no witnesses to this. Here he's going to shoot somebody in the face in the middle of a smoking rave.
They're all too tripping to notice anyway.
How do you think they filmed that shot? Like, there had to be, was there a cutaway in the floor? Or I don't know. I would love to see the behind the scenes of this movie more than anything.
Would you, though? Really?
Right
You'd
now,
love
I
to.
would. Ask me again in an hour, and I'm not so sure.
So here's Alan Cummings doing the greatest acting of his career, pretending to be straight.
With his Gilligan hat on.
This was another thing that brought me back to the 90s is when Stallone's kicking his ass. His hat, he's not wearing his hat. He's got like the blonde top, like the frosted top of his hair, but everything else is brown.
All right. So we're pretty much,
Everybody's getting their comeuppance.
Yeah.
Yeah. He
So-
spares him. He spares this Kinnear guy.
He does spare the mogul dude, yeah, the computer dude.
Well, he psychologically defeats that guy.
Yeah, I thought there was gonna be a trickle of piss coming down his pant leg or
Yeah.
something.
Pretty much.
Okay. So, any last thoughts regarding? We got like 10 minutes here before we want to. I don't want to rush it, but I just want to give it time so we don't have to restart here. But,
Well, you know what's funny? You mentioned how they sort of they added, sequences to get Michael Caine, less likable. It was so weird seeing him ruffling through, or through Carter's car, and like the fact that like Carter would just leave that DVD like just sitting in his car, like it doesn't make any sense. And now that after you mentioned the fact that they sort of shoehorn that scene in, it's like what's it matter that he gets a copy of that? Is that the only copy out there?
no, yes. I mean, you're right.
Doesn't matter.
This DVD is so what was it? The DVD shows again what? Just the sexual assaults happening?
Yeah.
Yeah. They don't, not that they have to spell it out, but it's this whole thing that was so Michael Caine's character, now we find out he was the one that killed or made it happen that his brother gets killed, right?
He was the one pulling all the strings.
Okay. Why didn't he just shoot Jack Carter in the office the moment he walked in?
Are you trying to ask for logic?
No, no, seriously. So he's the one that masterminded. So we're duped as an audience. I get it, but you retroactively watch this film knowing that this character is the one that killed it. So the brother walks in. This guy's he tried to fly him home, mind you. Maybe he wanted no blood, or the mafia from Las Vegas.
Yeah, exactly. I think Jack would ask enough questions. He would ultimately be satisfied that his brother did die in a drunk driving accident and go home.
Okay.
It seems to me like the fact that Michael Caine's character had him taken out, under the ruse of a drunk driving accident shows that he doesn't really like to be too theatrical about what he does. It's not like he was found, shot up in the street.
Okay. I'll allow it. So, get Carter there, guys. I saw it in the theater 20 years ago. Watched it again for the showing of this, for the review of the film. I think we did a piss poor job. I apologize to our listeners. You know why? I'll tell you why. And I knew this would be a dangerous film to review as I was watching it, because when we talked about Copland, there was never we had so much great stuff to talk about. The scenes with Robert De Niro and you blew it. There were so many different moments that we all couldn't wait to talk about. What's another one? Even a movie like Assassins, or then again Stop or My Mom Will Shoot. We knew that it was because it was such a dumpster fire. That there's just so much to talk about. The danger of this film is it's just on that precipice of it's not horrible. There's some good scenes. There's some moments where you're you could have done. Michael Caine was good. Stallone was fine, with what he was given. We're just dealing with a muddling, oddly shot, weird soundtrack. I don't know. And there's moments where I was just frustrated, where this could have been a mafia revenge film with Sly in his 50s. That would have been perfect, like an Asian mafia guy. Oh, that would have been awesome. But no, we get this, and it's just frustrating. It's
frustrating is a good word for it, because the bones of a great movie are here, but they really didn't put anything of substance behind that. You know what I mean? Like you said, who wouldn't like a great, seeing Stallone in a Man on Fire type of revenge, just rampage? Who wouldn't love to see that? And I think he could pull it off. He can pull it off.
Agreed. That's why, as a fan of Sly's, I'm so frustrated by him sometimes that he didn't do some of these roles. Like Al Pacino did it, Robert De Niro did it.
We can't blame him for this one, though.
No, but what I mean by is choosing roles that are dark. Like Robert De Niro
he chose the darker role, but then the director kind of tamed it down.
But even after this film, okay, this one didn't work out because De Niro does Cape Fear, he plays a maniacal. Wouldn't it have been cool to see Sly play like a Cape Fear psychotic killer?
Yes, it totally would. Yeah, he really limited himself by choosing,
kind
one
of
certain kind of role.
Yeah, we have Rocky, and we have the Rambo, the Patriot Rambo. We have the down on his luck underdog Rocky. Okay, Sly, you've got those. That's fine. Now embrace the dark characters that are in you, because again, that scene in this movie gives you a 2-second snippet of what this movie could have been, of just like an ass kicking revenge movie of just like beating down people and like, oh, anyways, it's over.
It is over.
All right, why don't you plug your shows there, guys? Because we got 8 minutes here.
All right. Well, I'm one of the hosts of Rocky Minute. We're covering the movie Rocky movies 1 minute at a time. We have seasons 1 and 2 in the bag, and we're currently recording for season 3, coming out this year sometime.
Yeah, and I'm Craig Cohen, and you can hear me on as a guest on Rocky Minute, season 1 and 2, and also upcoming season 3. And you can also hear me monthly on this Stallone Podcast Network. And 2 times a year, I serve up an episode of Slycast. So depending on when you're listening to this, you might be in proximity to one of the 2 Slycast episodes. And you can find Slycast on Facebook, Twitter, if you just search Slycast.
And I want to, as I always do, because I don't know why, I'm always remiss if I don't say these 2 guys are great, Doug and Craig. It's a true honor and privilege to podcast with you guys. I have the honor of editing these behemoth of episodes. But when I say that, I listen back and I'm like, man, these guys are good. Every time they talk, they sound good, and I wonder if I'm the annoying one in the threesome. So,
Nonsense.
Well, I appreciate that.
Not at all. Hey, and Ryan, I want to. We just both released yesterday, as of this recording, discussions we've had about Creed 2 that are from when Creed 2 was in theaters. So it makes for a really interesting listen, in my opinion. And I got to say, Ryan. They're both great discussions. One with myself and Mike Kunda, but I had forgotten a lot of the beats we hit when we talked about Creed 2, Ryan, and we go into some great territory there. There is an excellent sort of discussion related to the desert training sequence where you come up with a great cameo opportunity. So if you haven't listened to that Creed 2 discussion yet, it's on both of our feeds, and it's really worth it, because Ryan, I enjoyed the heck out of listening back to that.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate that. Hey, Doug, have you listened to it yet?
Not yours yet. It just came out like 2 days ago. Right?
How dare you? Jeez, come on now. Get with it.
Hey, man, it's the weekend, baby. Now's my listening time.
I'm just bugging you. No, I only asked because because I listened to yours a year ago when it came out. But anyways, I just wanted to say stay safe. I'm Ryan. Sorry, I'm Ryan of the Going the Distance, the Rocky Series podcast. We're currently on season 6, covering Rocky Balboa. We're nearing sort of the end. We've got about a half hour to go in that film. And after we cover Rocky Balboa, we are going to cover the Creeds. The thoroughness of that is still in the air. And also take a listen to, if you haven't already, the Worst of the Best podcast. It's a fun one, I think. And stay safe, guys. Stay safe out there in this COVID-19 environment.
You as well.
Yeah, you too, guys.
All right. I'm stopping this.
All right.